Hey, it's me, Dominic D'Angelo. It's Rumor and Innuendo. I'm of adfreeshows.com, Studio1sports.com, and Podcast Heat Wrestling. Dang it, I screwed it up. Damn it, Dom. Robert is not here again today. He did have a work-related issue that he needs to work out. So you're stuck with me yet again to cover AEW Dynamite and any other breaking news that goes on this fine program. Let's say hi to some folks in the chat here real quick. We got Willie Thornbrew say, there's nothing good on television on Thursday nights. Can you recommend something to binge on Netflix or perhaps a good audiobook? And then Cami Star chimes in and says, come on, Willie, give TNA on AMC a chance. Hey, she's got a point, I think. Just a really bad start, I think, though, for TNA in regards to that premiere show. I gave it a B- when I got done watching it because I was just like, I like the AJ stuff showing up. I thought, he did what he was supposed to do there. Top of it, too, I thought the promotion of the history of the championships and titles and the company in certain ways was well done. I thought, Frankie Kazarian versus Mike Santana was good. Santana win the championship was good. But there were in reflection, there were some major missteps, I think, in what they could have done to present the show. So I'm kind of with Willie, but I'm also with Kimmy. Give it a chance. She says that last week was got to give grace for first night jitters. So I'm kind of with Kimmy on that one. But as far as anything on Netflix to recommend, I don't know. I don't really watch a whole lot of Netflix besides Raw. Goodness. I'm trying to think what Nash Kev watches a lot of Netflix stuff, and he's always got some good recommendations. And I'm trying to think shoot. I wish I could think of it. He's got some good recommendations. Hey, tune in to Click This tonight, and maybe Kev will give you some recommendations. If you join clickthisTV.com, you can ask Kev that question, and he'll be happy to oblige for that, for sure. ClickthisTV.com. We go live at 7 p.m. for the Click This TV members. Pre-show. There's a pre-show that we just chatted up. Sometimes a pre-show is even way more fun than the actual recording of the podcast. So if you're a fan of Kevin Nash, and he's a good dude, so you can join us. All right. Let's say hi to some other folks in here. Triple E says, what's up? What's up, Triple E? Good to see you in the house, in the hizzy. We got Dre Owens saying, hello, R&I, live from the Arctic Tundra known as PA. Swerve vs. Kevin Knight was really good. Let's see how TNA does. Yeah, we'll talk about Swerve vs. Kevin Knight. Jeff Henninger says, hello, R&I. Glad to see we're back on the regular scheduled time. Kind of, right? I wasn't late today. I wasn't too late today, was I? Wrestling Old Head chiming on in, my R&I people. We meet again. And then AEO says Devin Dowling. So we got some good people tuning in today. So shout out to everybody. I guess Dre did call me out. Wonder if Dom is late due to him watching the Masters of the Universe trailer. Hey, I gotta come clean here. I was never really a He-Man fan. Like maybe for like a cup of coffee when I was like 3, but like never got into the He-Man lore. That was a little before my time. A touch before my time. Like big into Ghostbusters and Ninja Turtles. So that was my wheelhouse other than He-Man. So He-Man was like a early arrival for me. All right. Let's see. Boy, we could chat it out. I could just answer all these questions in the chat right now, and that'd be basically the show. But let's talk about Dynamite. And yeah, so mixed bag for me, to be honest, I will say. I enjoy a lot of different aspects about the show and some of the talent there. But like, I just keep finding some sort of issue with a little bit of everything that they do in certain aspects, I guess. Not that to say it's a bad show or to that it's like not a fun show to watch in certain ways, but there's a lot of stuff that's not necessarily my type of wrestling. And obviously wrestling is subjective art form, so people like their wrestling in different manners and ways. But I don't feel like I'm getting enough of what basically keeps me entertained and engaged. So these matches were great yesterday. Like Samoa Joe versus Mike Bailey was awesome. I enjoyed a lot of that. It was long though. There was so like I think a big part of the issue of these matches that are great, they should be a lot shorter. I think like Samoa Joe, there was that moment where it was, oh my gosh, Shibata did that awesome like suplex on the apron, then he rolled into a suplex onto the floor, and then he hurt Speedball Bailey's knee, like did like a knee breaker on the outside, and threw Speedball back in the ring. The match should have ended right then and there. Like that's all they needed because Speedball showed a lot of good athleticism, and like him and Joe worked a lot together at that point in time. So for that match to go on for another like what was it, 10 minutes or something like that, it wasn't needed. Um, I get some of the aspect of trying to fill time, but why not fill time with personalities and people to get the audience familiarized with them? For example, we talked about Jordan Oliver and Alec Price. Uh, yes, Alex Price. Alex Price, is that right? Yes, I am right on that, aren't I? Yes, I'm right. And how I wanted them to give context to who they were and what they were about and why they are here. I want to make sure. Okay, I thought maybe Robert was texting me, but uh, so like my expectations were like, let's set this up for them. Like if they're having this tag team match against FTR, build them and make it mean something. Yeah, busted in the brain. They killed it. Yeah, they were great. They were great. Don't get me wrong whatsoever. But like instead of giving context to like, hey, they said they were big stars on the independent scene. Did they mention at all that MJF wrestled Alec Price on the for Limitless and put his AEW title on the line? Did they mention that at all on the program? Because like that was important to do, I think, and they did not do that. Now, maybe they don't want to like, oh, so anybody can get a shot at the AEW championship. Well, there was an exception made and this happened. So they should talk about it and they should make that feel like a big deal that happened. And when you do that, you make these newcomers feel like a bigger deal than what, they are. Than Tony Schiavone was the one who gave history to these people, but specifically Jordan Oliver, saying that he knew Jordan since he was like about 16 or 17 early on in his wrestling career. And that was in accordance to Tony's time at MLW, aka the company we don't talk about here. But I think, and that was great. Like that was like, okay, Jordan Oliver has a lot of history. And then why not give him more history? Why not make that seem more important? And so they went toe to toe with FTR. They got put over on commentary, which credit to that, but they lost. They lost as newcomers. And then I saw that they did a social media post after the fact where there was like an exclusive backstage kind of moment with Oliver and Price. And like, I was trying to keep looks at, and like it got like something like over 200 and something retweets and stuff like that. It's going to a smaller audience. This is what's frustrating about it. The matches are great. They're too long. Fill your time up with backstage segments and those social media posts that you do to give context and history to your wrestlers, to associate them with your viewing audience. Like the wrestling can keep you engaged, I think. And like it certainly can if it's great and if it's fun, like Samoa Joe and Speedball. But if it goes too long, you lose me. And I didn't immediately, but I felt myself getting lost after that didn't finish the match. Like when Samoa Joe, there was like false finishes after that. Where it's just like, this is unnecessary. Great matches, too long. Give me more content that makes a complete pro wrestling product. Okay, you have the athleticism, you have the talents in the ring. I want to see the talents outside of the ring and know them and like associate with them and connect with them. Because that's a key component to all of this. And so I thought that was an ongoing issue throughout the show and program. Um, Same thing with Kenny Omega and Josh Alexander. Okay, you had this moment where Josh Alexander went out to kind of gloat to Don Callis, and I was like, man, what a great opportunity that is for like. So Kenny hits him with the, oh my god, what's the knee thing he does? I can't remember the name of that, but he does the knee thing to him, takes him out, boom, hits him with another move in the ring. Great moment to finish the match. Nope, Josh Alexander kicks out, and then later on he gets the loss. And so it does not put these guys or gals in the right light when you have it go a little too long and like you don't have a little bit more story behind it. I've been really yesterday I was a huge advocate for Josh Alexander getting a more prominent push. And there like that could have been an opportunity for that to happen. Whereas like you give him the knee, he gets pinned by Kenny, then Josh can get angry at Don Callis for distracting him after the fact. You show tension, more further tension in the Don Callis family, because let's be honest, what is going on with the Don Callis family and what is going on with the Death Riders? So are the Death Riders baby faces now? That's how they're positioned last night, at least in that match, in that street fight. Whereas the deck was stacked against the Don Callis family in that street fight. There was more Death Riders involved than there were Don Callis family members, and Don Callis family has a whole bunch of members that could have overpowered the Death Riders. That didn't happen in this match. The good guys overpowered the bad guys with the numbers advantage. And I don't mean to trash this because there was some fun aspects about it, and I will talk about that in just a second. But like that, this is where are we going to align here? Because guess what? During that tag team match that FTR had with the Pierce and Oliver, they were hyping. Stoke was hyping up Doyle and Davis in almost like a babyface manner. Like these are the baby faces you're going against next is Doyle and Davis, and they're part of the Don Callis family. What is going on? Please, somebody explain some of this to me. Make this make sense. Do they want to create these gray areas? Because if you're creating these gray areas, you're not making them one way or the other where I can really latch on to and like root for the baby face and boo the heel. I mean, some people go the other route, but that's fine. I want a distinct good guy, bad guy aspect. And you're getting this like a fruit basket of like different stuff in factions that just frustrate me, because it's just like John Moxley's kind of in this good guy role. And now all the Death Riders relatively seem in this good guy role, except Marina Shafir, who choked out Tony Storm on the outside with the mother's milk. And by the way, that mother's milk, I understand why it's called the mother's milk now. If you look at the positioning of that move, I get it. I never really like paid attention to the mother's milk finisher until last night. And I was like, okay, well, I guess that kind of makes sense of why it's called that. But like, just so much confusion with who's who, where they aligned, what is going on. Like, it's just, there's not a clear cut kind of thing. And like wrestling, in my opinion, and I think in, the ultimate benefit of your product, there should be distinct bad guys and good guys. Okay. That's because wrestling is simple storytelling, simple, good versus evil. Okay. Somebody root for, somebody boo for. That's where a lot, like, if you're walking this in between line of love and hate, you're not really loving and you're not really hating. You're like, what is going on? What I did like now about, if they really lean into it, of John Moxley being this babyface, John Moxley is great. Like I'm not a fan of the glass stuff and the barbed wire. Just kind of just feels super duper unnecessary, and just feels like, okay, this is John Moxley's spot. But his after the stuff where he gets near Callis on commentary and looks like he's going to chat in the headset, but instead Marina holds the microphone for him. Like, he kept it simple and short, kind of like what they should do with these matches. And so, like, yeah, it was a good show, I thought, but there was just some stuff that just still left me frustrated ultimately because what is going on? Tell you what, they did give me incentive to tune into Collision, and here's why. Austin Gunn and Billy Gunn teaming up. I am a huge Billy Gunn mark and have been since he went solo. Actually, I love the New Age Outlaws, but when he shout out to Road Dogg, but when he went solo and was the one Billy Gunn, my goodness, big time mark for the one Billy Gunn. And so anytime Billy Gunn is on my television programming, I think it's a cool thing that they're undefeated as a tag team and they're going up against, oh my God, who are they fighting? It's a team they're probably going to lose to. Oh yes, Kyle Fletcher and Takeshita. So unless there's tension shown between Takeshita and Fletcher, or maybe Okada interferes, then maybe they have a shot. But I would love it if the Guns won because build your tag team division. And how about you make some distinct baby faces and heels here too at the same time? Because it is that is just one thing that kind of drives me nuts about this show. Is just like who is lining up with who here? What is going on? Oh, Devin Delling says happy birthday to Road Dogg's old partner K Quick. Road Dogg and K Quick get rowdy. Shout out to our Collision seems to be very loaded. Yes, it does. I seriously I might go on my way to try to watch Collision, or at least that match. Yeah, look at this. Just like Darby attacking Pac a few weeks ago, is Darby a heel now? It just felt like they're positioning all these like Pac and Cesaro, Claudio, and even Yuta to in this babyface role, like they did like last night, because that was a fun spot where like Pac hits Lance with the crutch. Lance falls off the stage. Pac can't jump down because he's got a busted ankle from his match with Darby, and so Claudio just grabs the crutch, running, leaps out, and hits Lance with it, and that was a fun babyface spot. But they're not baby faces, or at least they haven't been for months on end. What makes them baby faces now? So it's just fun show. Let me just say that it is a fun show, but it feels long in the tooth when these matches run long and there's a lot of confusion about where these people align at and who we're supposed to root for and who we're supposed to boo against. Good to have Taz back, by the way. So do I have a watch along on 1TS tonight? So it's no longer 1TS, by the way. It's Studio One Sports, but you're right. There's not quite a watch along, but there's a live interview. Boom. Wow, what a segue. With Pretty Boy Smooth tonight, 6 p.m. StudioOneSports.com. Pretty Boy Smooth wrestled at Exodus New Game Plus this past Saturday, which was airing live on Studio One Sports, and he is the latest NWA signee. They presented him with an NWA contract here. Pretty Boy Smooth does not do a whole lot of interviews, so this will be a fun one. I'm excited to pick his brain. He mentioned how he's big into branding and everything like that, and I think that's such an important aspect of pro wrestling. So we'll be talking about that. We'll be talking about some other topics. We'll be taking your live questions too. So check it out. That will be tonight at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, StudioOneSports.com. Be sure to like and subscribe and comment down below with your question, even ahead of time, and I'll try to make an effort to ask Pretty Boy that question, Smooth, that question as well. Join me and help build the channel up. So shout out to Studio One Sports, my other channel here. So yes, check that out. Also, if you haven't nice. Devin, I'm an NWA dude. I'll try and be there. Yeah, definitely try to be there. If you can make it. Or go ahead, Devin, and go to that channel and ask a question if you can't make it ahead of time. And I'll try to include it with the questions that I have lined up for Pretty Boy Smooth. I want to also give a shout out to my other channel, just while I'm flying solo here, rvdtv.com. I completely kind of rebranded the whole channel itself to make it look like a Grand Theft Auto cover and aesthetic. So airing actually, I think right now. Yes. So once you're done tuning into this, go to rvdtv.com. I clipped up part of the conversation that I had with Big Vito and RVD about the mind of Paul Heyman. So we talk about Paul Heyman and how he kind of collaborated with all the talents to make ECW what it was. And it's a fascinating conversation that Rob has perspective on, big time, great perspective on, and Big Vito as well. Big Vito is freaking hilarious, by the way. So check that out, rvdtv.com. That full conversation is up with him too as well. And he busts my balls a whole lot on there. Vito does. He's great. Yeah, seriously, one of the funniest episodes we have done. If you have not heard his Nunzio impression, my goodness, you have to. You have to. He tells two different stories. One about him being Santa Claus with Nunzio and the Boogeyman. He goes in depth about that whole segment and what Vince McMahon wanted from that segment. It's great. Seriously, a must watch. So check it out, rvdtv.com, and enjoy the GTA theme I've provided now. All right, cool. Let's look at some of your comments here. Oh, yes. What about the next Fonzie? I got to get in touch with Fonzie. We'll get it. And did you hear Paul London on Chris Van Vliet today? No. What did Paul London have to say? What did he bring up on there? Let's see. Wrestling Hold Head says the scene where they find Zeus seems to encapsulate what ECW is trying to be. Where they find Zeus. I'm not familiar with that, actually. I don't know what you mean by that. Let's see. All right. Well, Willie Thornberry added, that's right. Ravishing Rick, you just say you were the white hat. I wear the black hat. Yeah, exactly. You got to keep it as simple as that. We clearly knew Ravishing Rick Rude was a bad guy, right? No ifs, fans, or buts about it. Now, if you go back and watch Hogan, like, there's definitely some, like, hey, what are you doing here? Like, that's not necessarily a babyface move, but ultimately Hogan's a babyface. Clearly, he's a babyface. It's that distinct. So, yes, trying to think if there's any other major takeaways that I had from Dynamite. No sign of the Young Bucks, right? Didn't see the Young Bucks on there. No Eddie Kingston. Frustrating. No Mark Briscoe, right? Trying to think what else. We did have like the little in between with Jet Speed and Hangman. And I thought that was cool. Like, it's baby faces helping each other and being the trios together. So I guess that's nice. So yeah, I mean, trying to think if there's any other other takeaways that I had from that show. No, not really. Not really. I mean, it was a fine show. The crowd was into a lot of it, so that's good. Did not know that that Kenny lived in Orlando. Also, I made a obscure Tony Orlando reference in the title last week, and I meant to shout out tie a yellow ribbon around the oak tree, and I totally forgot. So my apologies to Tony Orlando for yesterday. Let's see. How many defenses has Mark Briscoe had since winning the TNT title? I know. Like, shouldn't that be your TV championship, basically? Like, have him. No Ricochet last night either, right? Did not see Ricochet. This is stuff that they have to do. Instead of having such these long matches that, are good, but ultimately don't keep the fans engaged, your casual audience engaged, you have to fill the gaps in with intriguing segments and confrontations and, interviews or whatever. Like, this, it's what's missing. You're filling up so much of this time with the wrestling and not with the characters. Trey Owens thinks that Mark Briscoe has only had three title defenses. I cannot check that right now. Triple E follows up with Paul London. Paul London held nothing back about people he worked with, and WWE seemed to be grumpy about the stuff he went through, and seemed to be grumpy and WWE seemed to be grumpy about the stuff he went through. So yeah, Paul London. Yeah, he doesn't pull any punches. It seems. I've never interacted or interviewed him before. He'd be an interesting one. Check that out with Chris Van Vliet, I guess then. Um, it's only two, says Dre Owens. He's defended against Danny Garcia and Hechicero. Both heels, right? We think. Uh, so, huh. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how to feel about like Dynamite gives you some good stuff, but at the same time too, there's so many missteps that you don't like. Also, it's weird how the wrestling cycle works. Um, AW tries to be the alternative to WWE, but then I noticed that they just do so many of the stuff that we criticize the older WWE for, the 2019 WWE for, is like uh kind of just like follow up with talent. That's what WWE's huge issue was, like with Vince, is like there would be no consistency with your talent week in and week out, and it would just be, oh, we're going on Vince's whim about what he feels about the Retribution, or what he feels about Aleister Black, or so on. Name any wrestler basically at that point in time, and you can kind of hit something. And then I also noticed, yes, so when I saw the graphic for the Billy Gunn Austin Gunn match, I noticed that the tag team, they just merged their names together as their tag team. And what a trope that was for WWE back then. Is like, you're pairing people up, let's just call them something that they both have in their name. So the Proto Sheeta, I think it was, is what they were called, Proto Sheeta. Like, come on. Come on. Help this. Deuce, just call him Fletcher and Takeshita. We don't need a name. I don't know. It's just like, how do you not learn from the past? Not just in wrestling, but in history. You see how polarizing politics and everything was. Like that one guy on X yesterday chimed in with about Saudi Arabia and the United States. It's just, you see how do we not learn from history? How do the people in power and that have control or authority over something do not learn the mistakes from the past? And it's so mind-boggling to me. Oh, good. Briscoe is defending next week against El Clon. They called him El Clone. Is it Clon or Clone? I thought they were called Clone. I don't know. I don't know. Tony Gong also mentions he's not a fan of the current tag team naming methods either. Like, give some cohesive funness to it. Have them wear the similar outfits if they're going to be a tag team. Have it be called a tag team name. Like Jet Speed's kind of like, it kind of works. It does. But like, if you're going to have a tag team, make it a tag team for Pete's sake. Let's have something happen. All right, let's check the dirt sheets real quick. I haven't even looked at anything until I just watched Dynamite. That's all I did. Collision is canceled, everybody. Did you know that because of the storm? Let's see. A winter storm in Texas has led to the cancellation of AEW's Collision taping in Arlington, with the episode now being taped in Orlando for safety reasons. Oh, I guess it's just the location of it is canceled. So I guess they taped it in Orlando. So we're good. We can still see Billy Gunn. Everybody. Oh, did you know this? Ciampa has filed two new trademarks to the U.S. Patent Office. Psycho Killer and Psycho King. So get ready for that, everybody. He is 40 years old, just like me, when he joined the 2015 developmental system of WWE. Man, isn't it weird to think that he's been with WWE for 10 years? That feels like 2 years in the past, right? 2 years felt like an eternity when you were like in the Attitude Era. It really did. Like, it really did. Wrestling moved at a much slower pace for that. So, what a great comment this is by Tony Gong. Imagine what Strikeforce would have been named today. Martena. What a horrible name. Please just give us tag teams, tag team names, same outfits. It is not that hard. All right. Can we be creative? Even if you can't be creative in today's world of AI, type in some tag team names that might make sense for certain wrestlers and do it that way. I don't, at this point, just do something different. Like, come on. It's just, what can we do? How is Razor that noisy during the shows recently? Because I don't think he has been. He's been relatively tame for the most part. He's over by the window though right now. He's looking at me. Hello, Razor. He's looking over. All right. So interesting stuff when it comes to Ciampa and his trademarks. Collision is still on, everybody. It's just happening in Orlando. Oh man, this will be a good topic to cover with RVD. Is what Jericho had to say about ageism. It's not a death sentence to be in your 50s. It really isn't. Oh, did you hear Razor? Hey, Razor. Hello. Want to say something? Checking out the microphone. He's not saying anything. All right. We'll cover this one. Actually, let's get to this one first, and then we'll close out with this TNA, interesting TNA kind of update. Rusev has been missing from WWE, and why is that, everybody? Rusev's absence from WWE programming is a deliberate creative decision by WWE to preserve his presence and make his eventual return more impactful. Following the belief that talents not actively involved in the storyline should be removed from television and avoid overexposure. Hey, I mean, less is more. If it's deliberate, if you're doing this deliberately, removing them from television for this reason, to make them feel different and bigger when they return, I'm okay with that. But like what happens often than not, particularly in AEW, WWE can be guilty of it sometimes too, but specifically more AEW, is they take people off television because they don't think about them. Or they don't have the attention to detail to make it make sense. Okay, maybe they're considering them and we just don't put them on the show, but you got to connect the dots here. So, trying to see. According to PW Insider, this was the Bulgarian Brute absence is a deliberate creative decision by WWE, not the result of injury or disciplinary action. Okay, I'm totally fine with that, and especially somebody with like Rusev, bro. I think to take Rusev off television, like that makes a lot of sense because Rusev, when he got reintroduced, felt like a big deal, and then he kind of became a part of the crowd. So you remove him, people are asking where Rusev is. Once he returns, you can hit the reset button and make it feel like a big deal then. So I like that. I like it. I like it a lot. By the way, how old is Razor the Void Kitty? Razor, I got him in 2022, May of 2022, and he was 1 year old. They told me when I got him, and so 2022 would make him to 20. So about 5 years old. Poochie, Marty, as we know Poochie as, is with Robert. So Jennifer V, she also says, haven't heard Razor. Okay. Yes, he's around. So, okay, what's my opinion on Unreal? I'll talk about this here real quick. Unreal, I saw little clips of it online, and it made me want to watch it a lot less, just because it is not my flavor. I don't care about the ongoings backstage, and I don't want to see how the bread is made. I just want to see what's on television. I don't want to know the ins and out or what WWE presents as the ins and outs. I just give me the wrestling product. So even seeing like I think LA Knight, was talked to or something, and then Io Sky leapt in the arms of Triple H and certain aspects. Like I don't care. I don't. It is not what I tune in for wrestling. I want to tune into wrestling as an escape. I don't want to see that behind the scenes kind of stuff unless it's just like it's with like people from yesteryear. I don't. You're presenting these people as characters and personas. Leave it at that. To peel back, you humanize, which can be a positive in certain ways, but in pro wrestling, it doesn't necessarily help. Here's why. when you show vulnerability to these wrestlers, and that they're, I mean, granted, they're human beings. They are. We all know that, okay? We're well associated with that. You take away the air of mystery that makes a lot of these wrestlers intriguing. That's another aspect that comes into play when it comes with social media and how one presents themselves on social media. Look, if you go on my Instagram, you're going to see gym selfies and you're going to see pictures of Razor. People will judge me for that. Whatever it may be, positive, negative, I will get judged. That's how I present my own personal social media. So if you're, we're going to say, trying to think of a big time heel, Braun Breaker, and he's posting pictures. Gym selfies might make sense for Braun. What if he's posting pictures of him with his cat? Are you really helping out yourself by posting, if you're Braun Breaker, posting pictures of you like with an adorable cat, maybe not named Razor, but named Scotty Steiner or Buff? Like you're not helping your cause here. You're so you like the thing back in the day, the wrestling ring was lit up, and the ring was elevated, and the crowd sat on the floor, and so there was this unattainability of pro wrestlers back then. You don't get that nowadays. So when you go Unreal, you peel back the curtain, you see maybe Jey Uso not look in the best light, or tearful, or somebody look, going through his emotions. Sure, it humanizes him, but you eliminate a lot of this air of mystery about people. I mean, it's not just that channel that does it. It's so many other like social media aspects and everything. Everybody is so attainable nowadays. You go back to when, and I mentioned this on RVD, you go back to the time of the Attitude Era and ECW and everything like that. You could only imagine, you could never even fathom having like a DM conversation with Rob Van Dam or with a Scott Hall or anybody. There was that cool factor that was there. Like, man, could you imagine like running into Scott Hall or RVD? Like, unbelievable. Seeing them wrestle is one thing that's amazing, like, let alone amazing. But imagine having a conversation with one of these people. Man, blow my mind. You don't, it's a much easier thing to do nowadays. And so that's how I feel about W Unreal. It is not my cup of tea. I don't care. Even when I saw those clips, I'm just like, this is not for me. I do not care about this stuff at all. Yeah, well, you agree. Yeah, so not just in wrestling, it's all sports. Exactly. I've interacted with Marcellus Wiley, a former NFL player, quite a bit on social media. And it's cool to interact with him, do not get me wrong. But like, there's like, oh my God, there's like, I'm interacting with an NFL player that's like, he was really, really good back in the day and everything. And then, I mean, like, even Emmitt Smith, I was a huge Emmitt Smith fan as a kid. And when I remember it was, I think, Emmitt Smith's birthday or something, or it was the anniversary where he broke the rushing record. I went and tweeted out to him. I was like, I remember getting a concussion during when you broke the record, and like keep asking if he got the concussion. If Emmitt broke the record. And Emmitt replied, he was like, wow, that's awesome. That's crazy. And like, even that is pretty surreal. Like, Wade Boggs likes my tweets sometimes. And so there is that. It is, you're right. It's a across the board thing. I think there's more of that goes with wrestling, though, because they are presented as characters in a certain light and in a certain manner. So if you peel back the curtain and you show the vulnerability of all these wrestlers and that they're human beings, there's that air of mystery that is going to be gone. So not a fan of the Unreal stuff. Just not my kind of thing. I don't mind like the sit down kind of interviews and conversations when it's, like they're talking about the history of the business, or like, storylines of the past or anything to that, because there's that element of separation of it all, where it's just like, a Dark Side of the Ring or something like that is fine by me, or certain stuff like that. But when you're like in the thick of the action and you literally just saw this happen months ago, and now we're seeing how that process worked out, I just not for me. Catch 22. Heck yeah. Get in the Emmett zone, everybody. I'm always in the Emmett zone. Not worst pictures of wrestlers posting kitties online. Yes, true. That's for OnlyFans, everybody. Let's see. Tony Gong. I've always wondered why pro wrestling is held to that standard. Chris Evans and Josh Brolin can't promote Endgame together, and nobody gets outraged. There's that more of that connection. You always hear this. When it comes to wrestling, is like that wrestler is who they are turned up to 11. So they are still that same person. So Chris Jericho is still Chris Jericho. Rob Van Dam is still Rob Van Dam. Stone Cold Steve Austin is still Stone Cold Steve Austin. Chris Evans is not always Captain America. So there's that kind of separation of it all. Wrestling is its own unique atmosphere that has these parameters. I think that some wrestlers are cagey enough and willing enough, have the fortitude enough to keep that air of mystery about them. Austin's separated enough that he doesn't necessarily need to do the Stone Cold stuff. He can turn on the Stone Cold stuff because guess what? He's shown you that he is Stone Cold. You know what I mean? So he can post pictures of Macho and Poncho and his dog too. And, you're still like, that's Stone Cold. And that's kind of awesome that Stone Cold likes cats. Maybe I'm biased because I'm a cat fan. But I just don't think right now Braun Breaker's in the thick of the action. Him posting pictures of him holding a hypothetical cat named Buff Bagwell would not be conducive to the storyline currently going on. I won't post that, Triple E, because you always got to believe in Cena. I've never seen The Losers, actually. Chris Evans is more like his character from The Losers. First thing I saw Chris Evans was in Not Another Teen Movie. All right, I guess that'll do it. I think we covered a lot of good ground today. Maybe if I remember, I'll try to save that TNA article for tomorrow when we talk about TNA. I won't do a live watch along, I don't think, tonight with TNA. Because guess what? I'll be live with Kevin Nash. If you want to join in at 6:45 or no, 7 p.m., clickthisTV.com. Sign up now, become a member. You get a lot of cool perks. You get 20% discount on the Click This shop. You get to interact with Kev. You get priority to ask questions to Kev. You can live in the chat, and Kev will answer them. Not only that, but yes, you get to access to the pre-show and somewhat post-show too that we have. We sometimes do a little post-show too. So if you're love Kevin Nash and just love that kind of fun conversation that's not always pertaining to wrestling, join us tonight. Glad I put that over. I never really put the Click This TV over on here. But I'll put all you guys over. Thank you all for tuning in, from Dre Owens to Cammy to Triple E to Devin to Wrestling Old Head to Stars on Sports with a great question to Tony Gong, who made the comment of the day. Am I missing Willie Thornbrew as well? So, and anybody new tuning in, feel free to add comments if you're kind of apprehensive or you haven't really engaged with comments and you want a question answered, or you want just to give your opinion, please post it and let me know. And I'll be happy to invite. Robert should be back tomorrow. Hopefully he will be. You never know. But that's the game plan. But you can catch us every Monday through Friday on a plethora of channels and outlets, including the Ad-Free Shows YouTube channel, the Podcast Heat YouTube channel, the Oh You Didn't Know YouTube channel, the Rumor and Innuendo YouTube channel. And you can also catch us at the WD Creative _ish X account. That's Robert's X account. And you can catch it at the Dominic D'Angelo X account. That's my X account. SEScoops.com X account. And at Podcast Heat X account as well. So, okay. Well, I'll tune into TNA. We can talk about TNA. Join me again live tonight, 6 p.m. Pretty Boy Smooth. The latest NWA signee. Ooh, Razor. I wish I could show you Razor right now. Maybe I can't. Hold on. Razor. Hold on. There he is. He's looking at his taco. There he is. Razor Boy. All right. That was a very small interaction with Razor, but Razor nonetheless. All right. Thank you all for tuning in. I'll see you next time here on Rumor and Innuendo. Best of luck in your future endeavors. And stay warm out there if you're in Pittsburgh, because it's actually not bad. So you can stay warm. Shh.